Hey guys, Chad here of the Wrestling Underground podcast, brought to you by RealNerdCorp.com. Giving you a quick video today. It is a general overview, recap, ratings rendition of the podcast talking about AEW. But before we go further in, RealNerdCorp.com, your one-stop shop for all thing nerd news. We're talking the NWA later today on the website. We're going to be busting down the roster, talking about guys that have joined the brand that I think can be legitimate stars and can revitalize their careers, I should say. They're going to be awesome. I'm interested in how these tapings went. I've already saw the spoilers, and I love the setup, and we're going to talk about that on the website later today. So stop by in about an hour or two, and let's see what we see. But as for AEW, some good and strong news. Now, obviously, last night we know what went down. You know, everyone's already well aware. According to CBS.com, they have a full rundown of everything. At least I thought they did. Cody defeated Sammy Guevara. Really unique hype package beforehand. There's going to be an overwhelming theme with this show that I think needs to be pointed out. But the one thing's for sure, the show last night was good. Although I would say, just like with Raw, I found myself not caring for stretches. And that's partly because of the roster. With Raw and SmackDown, it's not about talent that you can sink your teeth into. It's about an overall story element or an overall production element with the product that makes it unwatchable. You could have Finn Balor and, you had Hideo Itami there for a while. You had Cesaro, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson. You got AJ Styles, a who's of who's. But all the matches are bland. All of the pay-per-views are pointless. The title scenes are irrelevant, and the overall kind of vibe of the product is we'll tell you who to like. So it kind of kills the idea of what to enjoy. With AEW, you don't have that stacked of a roster. I'm going to be that guy. I'm saying it because you know it's true. Yeah, at the top, you got some top names. But after that, you don't have much of anything. You have Cody, you got Kenny. I wouldn't say Pac. I know a lot of people want to say he is, but I wouldn't. You have Jericho. That's about it. And those are your top three guys. You got some really good tag teams. You got the former LAX, EYFOB, or whatever they're calling themselves now with Jericho. You got the Young Bucks. You got Pentagon and Phoenix. But let's be honest, Pentagon and Phoenix are better singles wrestlers than they are tag team. Mid-card guys, you don't have any. You got a lot of young, unknown commodities that really need to be on their own. And last night, I think one of the biggest overwhelming issues with the product that we'll see going forward is that they're sacrificing developing younger talent because they don't have the depth name value-wise, not talent-wise. A lot of these guys are super talented. But you look at the dearth of unknown commodities and you realize that they don't have a mid to upper mid-card scene with any significance. Most of the guys that you would hope that they would have signed ended up going to the NWA. So that's going to be a problem going forward. And I think having a 20-minute opener match with Sammy Guevara is kind of laughable because you're Cody fucking Rhodes. Why are you struggling with this 23-year-old pissant from Texas? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that's going to be part of the problem. Is that you're going to be seeing typical WWE-style matches, these 20-minute back-and-forth matches that don't actually serve to put anyone over. Sammy Guevara doesn't look better today than he did yesterday. Cody looks worse today than he looked yesterday because he struggled against an unknown dude. Now, if you do it once every, so many months, it can make a guy. But this isn't once every few months. This is an AEW booking staple. We saw it with Hangman Page. We see it with the tag team division. We're seeing it with the women's division. A lot of the bigger, well-known names are being sacrificed for this exacerbated focus on pushing the unknowns quicker than they need to be pushed. That's going to be problematic down the road. Now, that's not to say the show is bad. It's not even to say that the Guevara-Cody match was bad. But Guevara and Cody was often praised and compared to the Liger-Pillman match of circa 95. But the problem with that simple analogy is that both Liger and Pillman were well-known commodities to the WCW audience. Pillman had been there for 6 years. Liger's there every other year or every year on a tour. They knew who they were, and neither guy was a main eventer. So it didn't matter who won that match. Cody literally was in the middle of an angle with Jericho, where he's going to be going to, what is it, Full Gear? Dumb name. To face off for the title. So why the fuck is he struggling? That doesn't make me want to watch this bout. Could you imagine if you put, for the sake of argument, Khabib versus McGregor 2, but before McGregor got Khabib, he had to face Johnny Nobody on an episode of UFC Fight Night, and he goes 3 rounds with the guy and struggles? There's no optimism then for that Khabib fight. It's gone. It's destroyed. Pro wrestling is never going to be more than a simulated combat sport. To try to make it more is to shoot what it is in the back of the head. Promote fighters like they're fighters. Promote guys like they are significantly better than other guys, and you will legitimately have success with developing and promoting and booking. This is a lost art with modern pro wrestling, and it's lost in WWE, it's lost in AEW, it's kind of lost in Impact, it's definitely lost in Ring of Honor. It's not lost in New Japan, though, which is why so much of what New Japan does is so heralded and revered, because of how good it is. So I don't know what this whole game plan with Cody and Sammy Guevara was. It was a fine match. It was, technically sound, but technically sound isn't always good. Oh yeah, it was really exciting, was it? Well, what story did it tell? That Sammy almost pulled an upset? Great. Why was Cody facing Sammy in the first place? Oh, there wasn't an explanation or a real reason given why? Oh, okay. Oh, there might have been, but you had to watch Being the Elite? No thanks. So that was fine, whatever. I will say this, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone are still amazing on commentary, and everyone who tells me that Excalibur is great, I really think rode Razor scooters when they were kids, because they're just hopping on a fad train. FAD, just to be clear. There's nothing about Excalibur that I think is entirely all that great. I don't think he's that good of a commentator. He's oftentimes tripping over his own words. He makes bad analogies and bad fucking jokes, and it's really abhorrent how bad he is. I don't know why he's got the slot he is. He's not as bad as some of the WWE announcers, that's for damn sure. But he's not on Schiavone or Ross's level, and it's pretty fucking clear. He's an indie guy, and that's where he should go back to. Ross does struggle at times, but he's been struggling with the basic play-by-play details for 30 years. Jim Ross has never been that great of a play-by-play guy in terms of calling the action. He's never changed. This is how he's always been. I don't understand why people are all of a sudden now saying he's regressed. He hasn't. This is how he's always called wrestling. I don't understand why you guys are now having an issue with this. Jim Ross excels at basically what I like to call makeup. He is the best guy to have on there to explain away dumb things that happen. It's not a botch, it's not a screw-up, it's, he overcompensated, or he jumped too soon, and that's just what happens when you're facing a guy who you're intimidated. Like, Jim Ross can spin a story out of a blown spot like that, and that's what's so needed. Jim Ross is able to tell stories on commentary, which is why I'm so, adamant about Matt Stryker being on more television shows, because he does the same type of play-by-play. He does that old school baseball, let me tell you a story of what we're seeing today, and it works so well. Schiavone played a TNT employee, which I actually really enjoyed. He's like, we haven't had wrestling on here since 2001. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, no, that's fine. I think we're all going to just forget about that one time he popped up in the then-known TNA back in 2003 to yell at Mike Tenay. That was funny. Overall, I thought the production was great. I'm not a big fan of all the theme musics. I don't know if it just needs to, time or whatnot. Maybe hire Mike Johnson. Not Mike Johnson. Jim Johnston. Wrong guy. Have him come on and do the theme music. Excuse me. That would be good. Another big issue I had with the show was the setup. I fucking hate the chandelier in more ways than I can adequately describe to you. It's so stupid and serves no purpose. Clearly, whoever set this entire venue up was a big fan of 2009 TNA, so there's that. Also, I want to point out to those of you who are keeping up with the Kevin Sullivan not that Kevin Sullivan, the TV producer Kevin Sullivan, who bolted from Impact to go to AEW. Turns out, according to Ed Nordholm, Kevin Sullivan was kind of a scuzzbag who was a contracted salaried employee for Anthem and broke his contract to work with AEW on several occasions despite being told he wasn't allowed to. That's kind of a messed up thing to do. And if that's the way he does business, then I hope AEW is ready for him to do it to them, because once you have a pattern of practices, that's what you become known as. So, not that surprising that Sullivan joined up with Jeff Jarrett in the first place and then went to Impact after Global Force Wrestling couldn't take off the ground. So we'll see what kind of nonsense happens with AEW, but we move on. MJF defeated Brandon Cutler in essentially a submission match. Not a submission match, a squash match. I said submission because it says via submission. It was cool. I liked it, I guess. Brandon Cutler has no business being on TV. I'm saying it. He's not that big. He's far from athletic. He's a great story, but he probably would have been better served being probably a coach. Is that what they're calling him? Coach? Backstage guy? But apparently they're going to make him into a jobber, which I guess is fine. Whatever. MJF cut another promo centering on D&D. I still love the fact that a D&D nerd got so triggered by MJF saying, I don't play D&D, that she literally thought she was going to be assaulted by wrestling fans. So she called for his job. God damn it. Some people can just be the biggest of cunts. There was a cool Jay and Silent Bob promo. I will say this. I was a huge Kevin Smith fan for a long time. Like, everything prior and up until Clerks 2 was, like, the greatest thing to film, in my opinion. But then I saw Red State and what was that? Walrus or whatever it was fucking called. Then you had that Northern Hoosiers. Cop Out was... I wanted to like that more than I did. I think I even said I did like it just so I could keep my love of Kevin Smith going, but let's be honest, this stuff hasn't been that good in a while. But he did just announce Clerks 3 with Jeff Anderson, so I'm all in on that. And that was the holdup, was Jeff Anderson didn't want to do the film, so now that he does, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. They did a fun little segment with Angelico and Jack Evans. They trash talked, said something about something that I really didn't catch because Jack Evans was screaming like a little child. Private Party just kind of strolls in and the segment ends. It was dumb. We then got a double SoCal Uncensored promo where they did a 5-year out-of-date Barack Obama impersonation. Good job, Scorpio Sky, for being relevant, I guess. I don't know. Then they went into a staged interview. Neither was really all that impressive. They weren't even in Washington, D.C., so I don't know why they were trying to pull that shit. Like, what? Like, really? Let me just double check. Let's see. Positive AEW. Yeah, historic. Going to CBS Sports Day. I'm not seeing anything in this right about where it was. I thought it was in Maryland, truthfully. So let me just double check that, because I don't want to be that out of date. Premiere. Okay. It was in D.C. I thought it was in Maryland. My bad. So it was in D.C. Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., which would explain all of the fucking presidential iconography that they're using in the promo packages. So, anyway, out of date, Barack Obama promo, whatever. Then they cut another promo where Scorpio Sky's like, we're going to go with the established vets, which I don't even know why they were doing the promo. Prior to the promo, they had like an entire tag team bracket where you can clearly see Daniels and Kazarian in the bracket. What's the point of doing a promo when we already know? Like, goddamn. So you just wasted 2 promo packages on this spot. Then you had the Lucha Bros come out. Phoenix talks in his janky English, and then Pentagon refuses to speak English, even though he speaks English fluently. Go say Romero, and then they brawl, and it was dumb. First and foremost, Pentagon is such a bigger star in terms of the talent all around than his brother will ever be. I don't know why they're saddling him with Phoenix. Phoenix is a great worker. Yeah, that's fine. But so is like 1,000 other wrestlers. Pentagon has a personality. He has a gimmick. He has an aesthetic. He has a look. He has a vibrancy that cannot be replicated. and he's being stuck in a tag team where he's walking out in fucking suits that look like, you'd see on a creepy uncle on Christmas dinner. Like, what are you doing, AEW? You're wasting Pentagon. This dude is fucking the Warrior King. He's God King Warrior. Like, what are you doing? It's dumb. It's so dumb. In a match that basically can surmise with, thank God we didn't have this as our title match. Pac, who I don't understand why people think he's that big of a star. I don't. I'll never understand it. Because, again, he's a dime a dozen these days. He's a jacked-up cruiserweight who can do a bunch of flippy-doos. That's like 1,000 people right now. Whatever. Adam Page has the look, but he's yet to prove that he has the stuff. Second straight match that he's been in where I was like, oh, whatever. So I'm not really too fond of their being pushed to the main level. These are the cats that you should be building the mid-card title around, but instead they're in the upper mid-cards and possible world title sequences just because they don't have anyone else. It's really not that good. Riho defeated Nyla Rose. This caused a lot of I don't want to say phobic, because phobia is a fear. I don't think people are afraid of trans people. I think people who have issues with trans people just don't like them. Trans-abusive? Trans-discriminatory? I can speak. Trans-discriminatory? Discriminatory? I think that's right. A lot of just awful, terrible, no good, ugly things. No reason to go with that. Personally, I didn't think either of these women should have been in the fucking title match, truthfully. Then again, their women's division is built on just shambles of wannabes. I like how Britt Baker spent most of the time putting over the fact that she's a dentist. Oh, good for you. You already have no personality. You're already not likable, and you're already known for being Adam Cole's wife. Please talk more about something that keeps you from being relatable. We all appreciate that. And she's a bad promo. Like, goddamn. I thought it was bad listening to Mandy Leon on Ring of Honor commentary. Jesus, though. Like, she's still worse, but it's not like fucking Britt Baker's better. Rio's fantastic. She carried this match. I do think, despite the controversial nature of Nyla Rose, I do think she's a decent wrestler. She's very much like Rhino in a lot of ways. She's not going to be super flashy, but she can hit you with a big power move or two that'll definitely send you with some oohs and ahs, which is what you want. Overall, though, I think the wrong people were in this match, but of the wrong people, I think the right one of the wrong people won. Truthfully. There's a lot better female talent you could have gone with, namely Jazz. I don't know. Allie. I don't know. Like, why are you putting Allie in all your promotional spots, and yet I didn't see her at all? Like, what are you doing? Stop it. So, post-match, there's a... Yeah, I'm reading this right. Post-match, Melee certainly boosted things as Rose attacked Rio and hit a powerbomb. An interviewer, Michael Nakazawa. Rose then set up a DVD on the ring apron only for Kenny Omega to run in to rescue Rio and deliver a push on Rose. Why are you sending Kenny Omega out? Could you imagine John Cena running down to break up Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon? Like, what are you doing? Why did you bastardize Kenny Omega so fast in only a year? What are you doing? Oh, my God. And don't even at me with you're clearly an NXT guy, because I watched NXT last night, and it was fucking boring. Why was fucking Jade and Aya going 15 goddamn minutes on a regular show? Why? I don't need to see that much bland wrestling in my life. Like, no thank you. Ooh, Finn Balor showed up. He got demoted. Ooh, Tommaso Ciampa showed up. He's all of 5'8" and bad neck and can't cut a promo that's not just him being angry. Ooh, Candice LeRae wrestled and she lost, because that's basically her whole shtick at this point. Like, neither show was overwhelmingly that good. Everyone who says that it was is really just selling a narrative to you guys. I hate to break it to you. The main event was pretty solid, but it's a typical Young Bucks match, so you're going to get typical Young Bucks stuff. So that's disappointing. If I never see Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks again, or the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros, or the Lucha Bros versus Santana and Ortiz again, it'll be too soon. The Judas Effect got the win for Team Geralax. Then post-match, we see Guevara came down, Cody came down, Dustin came down. Jake Hager showed up and dropped some bitches. So, yeah, there's that. I think there was a spot with John Moxley at one point. I think. Yeah, Moxley. He showed up during the match, that's right. He came down and pushed Jericho through a glass table. I don't know. It felt like the show was trying too hard and not trying enough. You don't, and this is something that I keep saying. You don't need 5 matches of 20 minutes. I know there was this whole thing back in 2008, 2009, 2010, where everyone was counting the minutes of an Impact Wrestling TV show match. Oh, this match only got 4.5 minutes. That match only got 9.5 minutes. That match only got 2.5 minutes. If it develops and puts over a guy, who the fuck cares how long it takes? You know what I never see? Oh, hey, Jorge Masvidal only won in 3 seconds. He's clearly not that good. He's clearly not that exciting. Raw. No, you can have short matches that are exciting as fuck. You can have long matches that are boring as fuck. And we saw both of plenty last night. Overall, I think AEW did get the win because they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. And when their biggest debut is Jake Hager, who is the literal incarnation of modern-day Lex Luger, it's not even funny. I think you know that they weren't pulling out all the stops for their debut. And then when you look at what NXT was doing with its limited commercial interruptions, it's 15 minutes past the runtime, Finn Balor being demoted, Tommaso Ciampa being dragged out of semi-retirement because of his fucking neck, 3 or 4 or 5 different women's matches because they're trying to really slam this idea of equality, and then the announcement of the NXT Cruiserweight Championship being renamed, but it's still being the same goddamn awful, terrible toy belt. You know that one side tried a lot harder, and neither side really put out the best product going forward. But then again, I've been critical of AEW's product for the last few shows now, so this isn't anything new if you're familiar with my work. Early notes, according to Dave Meltzer, AEW did anywhere between 1.5 and 1.7 million live, with another 650,000 for the taped show, which I believe is the WrestleZone Dave Meltzer F4W Online way of saying the replay. It was noted that the actual number for the live show may be lower because those numbers are skewed by large numbers in Charlotte. There are no ratings available for NXT on the USA Network. That just tells you that the numbers for the USA Network aren't that good. There's that. I hope you guys have been enjoying the current uploading schedule for the YouTube side of things. It's nothing that we're doing crazy with. Simply put, we're just loading segments of our podcast to YouTube to try to entice people to download the full podcast. We're going to be more consistent with how we upload these going forward. We don't want to be too out of date with the podcasts themselves, so there's going to be about at best a day or two turnaround on when the podcasts go up to when the excerpts of the podcast go to video. So be sure to keep an eye out on that. We talk more than just pro wrestling. We talk about comics. We talk about TV. We talk about scripted dramas, sometimes sports, video games. So like all that stuff is stuff that we cover under the NerdCorp umbrella. So give us a check. Give us a look. Be sure to follow this podcast on Twitter at the Wrestling Under G. It's not it's just at Wrestling Under G. WRESTLI. God, I can spell WRESTLING UNDERG. If you're watching the YouTube video, it's literally on the screen. It's right up here. You can't see it, but it's there. I'm telling you. It's super it's right here. Where the fuck is it? Hang on, I can find it. There we go. It's right here. You can see it right here. Marcus and I will be back on Sunday. We have the full schedule for what we're doing in October up on the website as we speak. So if you want to find out more about what you can expect in the month of October from the folks at realnerdcorp.com, you can do so by going there, checking us out. Give our Patreon a look. We're not exactly the biggest thing, but any little bit that anyone wants to give us is going to help us greatly. I might be joining a new writing outfit, but already I'm seeing the unprofessionalism in how they go about things. And I've only been technically a hiree, or a contractor, if you will, for 2 days, and it's already a shit show. So we'll see about that. But that's all I got for you guys today. We'll be back later tonight around 9 for ComicCorp. We're talking comics, not comics. We're talking about cartoons. It's Halloween, so we're looking at, I believe this night's is going to be the Addams Family cartoon. Ghostbusters, maybe, I think is what we're doing. Beetlejuice for sure. Check out the website. The website has the schedule there. That's going to be in place of the movie reviews for this week. We're also going to be talking about headlines, more Joker controversy. I'm sure we're going to be looking at the Harley Quinn trailer. That's going to be a big focus of tonight's show. So if you guys want to hear me bitch about Harley Quinn's trailer and the media fucking nonsense about the Joker film, go and tune in tonight. Twitch.tv/RealNerdCorp at about 9 o'clock as Zachary, myself, and Marcus talk about comics, sci-fi, and all things nerdom on ComicCorp. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. I've told you where to find the podcast. I'm telling you where to find the website, realnerdcorp.com. Also on Twitter at NERDCORP and on the Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Congratulations to Eho. I think I said her name right? Eho? I think that's right. I know words. Let's see. Nope, that's not the one I want to go to. Here we go. It's Iho, right? Eho? What's her name? Hang on. Riho. Congratulations to Riho for not just becoming the first ever AEW Women's Champion, but for also being our Woman Crush for this week, as well as Cody for being our Wrestler of the Week. So thanks for that. Once again, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. Check us out. Otherwise, we'll see you later tonight for ComicCorp. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to watch more wrestling.